So Michael Moore went on Bill Maher's show to promote his new movie called Fahrenheit 11/9. That's, of course, a play on Fahrenheit 9/11, which is a movie he did that was about Bush. Fahrenheit 11/9 is obviously about Trump. And he explained what happened in Michigan in 2016 and how the Democrats blew that election. Let's watch.
But what the movie shows and tries to explain as to why sometimes people stay on the bench. And I get into talking about this, about the Democratic Party, and it's a bit of a balancing act in this film because it's listed as Michael Moore's Trump film, but nobody wants to go to the theater and look at Trump for 2 hours.
No.
So I do a favor for the audience.
Right.
I don't think you see him more than 20 minutes in the film, but
Right.
It is about the Trumpian time in which we live.
No, I think
and how we got here.
I think it's great that, I do this too. You go after the Democrats.
Yes.
That's what friends do.
Yes.
They're honest with their friends.
That is correct.
Cowards don't.
Right.
And you are very brave in this. You say very unflattering things about both Clinton and Obama and Hillary.
Hillary lost Michigan by about 2 votes per precinct. That's
Right.
it. All right, they never should have lost a blue state. And I interviewed John Podesta in the film, and I said, how did this happen? And how, first of all, the vote got depressed because the people of Flint, when they were told that she got the questions in advance, and Bernie didn't, that they felt used as props out there in the audience, standing up and asking their question, and Hillary already knew what the question was. So people first were upset about that. In Michigan, this never happens. There were more people, a record number of people voting in the April primary between her and Bernie than who showed up in the general election in November. And in the film, I show something that sadly President Obama did by coming to Flint and telling people the water was okay. It was still poison. And then he pretended to drink from a glass of water and then said it wasn't a stunt. And it was. And it just put a knife in the heart of so many people in Flint who were hoping he would come, bring the Army Corps of Engineers, dig up these poison pipes, and replace the pipes in the city. And in fact, he didn't do that. And then people gave up. And a lot of people stayed home. They didn't vote for Trump, but they stayed home. And now you and I wish that wouldn't happen, and you shouldn't stay home, and you should see clearly how bad it's going to be. But you cannot talk to people who have suffered so much, especially in this town, where their jobs were eliminated 30 years ago. Then the economy was ruined. The pipes are poisoned. And then, as I show in the film, Obama sends the Pentagon in to use Flint as target practice. And for 10 days and 10 nights in a row, fires missiles and bombs into abandoned buildings, troops firing their guns. Nobody was told in advance that they were coming. Everybody thought it was a terrorist incident. And it's like the feeling of we're nobody, and America's forgotten us. We're still drinking out of bottled water. And in this small little example, you see how sometimes the Democrats really screw it up.
Damn. That was powerful. That was powerful. Now, I haven't seen Fahrenheit 11/9 yet. I'm sure at some point I'll see it. It seems very interesting. But that was a really good breakdown from Michael Moore there. Now, I have my disagreements with Michael Moore. I know a lot of people in my audience, you do as well. But let's go through that. So the first point was, yes, Hillary cheating impacted Michigan. And he says that when Donna Brazile slipped the debate questions to Hillary, the people that were in the audience thought, oh, we're just props to you. So you're not really connecting with us and trying to explain how you'd fix problems. We're just props. This just was a rigged process. So, hey, again, reason number 17,412 why you shouldn't poo-poo the WikiLeaks, which showed stuff that we should have known. We should have known that they were effectively rigging a primary. We should have known that the DNC was acting as an arm of the Clinton campaign. For people to argue that, oh, we shouldn't have seen that because something Russia, the source from which we got this information, is tainted, that's a dumb Republican-like argument. I mean, that's the type of shit they say about, like Chelsea Manning showing that our soldiers were massacring innocent people in Iraq. Oh, it's against the law to release that information. Therefore, Chelsea Manning's bad. No, we should see that information because it's important because then we can reform the government. Same thing with the WikiLeaks in regards to this election, and Michael Moore is explaining how this really impacted Michigan. So don't blame WikiLeaks for telling us the truth. Don't blame the messenger. Blame Hillary Clinton and Donna Brazile for fucking cheating in the first place, if you don't know where to place your anger. And then he says Obama not fixing Flint was a huge issue and it impacted Michigan. And I remember when Obama went to Flint and he did like a whole, show. It was Kabuki Theater apparently where he pretended to drink the water and, oh, the water's safe now. But people in Flint knew it wasn't safe. So why would you do that? I don't understand why you would do that. Was the idea to lie to the rest of the country and get the rest of the country to believe that you fixed the problem when you know you didn't? Because I got news for you. Of course that's going to backfire. Because Michigan is an important state that you could lose if you do stupid fuckery like this. And that's exactly what happened. You lost because you did fuckery. So Michael Moore's pointing that out. And then the thing that I got to add on top of it, he touched on it briefly by saying, all the jobs were lost there. But listen, I think the most important reason why Trump ended up winning the Rust Belt in particular, so this is to say nothing about the rest of the country, but the Rust Belt in particular, Trump basically swept the Rust Belt. Why? How could a Republican sweep the Rust Belt? Well, if you remember, back during when they were campaigning, Trump kept going to all those Rust Belt states, and he would give speeches. One of his main talking points in the speech, and he would spend time on it, is slamming the TPP and slamming NAFTA and all the outsourcing deals. And if you're from those areas, you know very well, oh, that's what destroyed our communities. When you took all of these good factory jobs, these manufacturing jobs, you allowed the business owners to ship those jobs overseas so that they could save money and pay people less to do my job when I had a good union job that paid me a middle-class wage. So everybody in those areas, they know, hey, outsourcing destroyed us. So when Donald Trump made that a very key point in his stump speeches in those areas, of course that's going to help him, and he ended up almost sweeping the Rust Belt. Meanwhile, Hillary, she should be thanking Bernie because Bernie pushed her to say, oh, I'm against TPP, but she never spoke about it, and she never spoke about it because she wasn't actually anti-TPP. She was just like, oh shit, if I don't try to out-left Bernie on this issue, I'm in trouble. So she was like, yeah, I'm against it, even though she had pushed for it over 40 times and called it the gold standard of trade deals. So it was all those things put together which made us that the Democrats blew Michigan. And I even know the thing about he sent in whoever to do target practice there in Michigan. People thought it was a terrorist attack. So yeah, Democrats took them for granted. And by the way, Hillary didn't even go and give speeches in many of these places in the Rust Belt. So very informative from Michael Moore. Listen, the bottom line is, the takeaway is, I haven't seen the film yet, but what I can tell you from what I know is the Democrats should have never abandoned the working class, should have never got in bed with Wall Street, should have never started taking money from the for-profit health insurance companies or the military-industrial complex. If the Democrats maintained their position as the party of the people, we would never be in this situation. But they did do that. And so you have to point that out to try to explain how to beat Republicans. See, a lot of people hear these kinds of segments where I'm bashing the Democrats and Michael Moore just bashed Democrats, and they're triggered. And they act like, why are you helping Republicans? But it's the exact opposite. You have it completely backwards. The reason we're pointing this stuff out is so that we can beat the Republicans. Because the Republicans are absolutely monstrous in every way imaginable. So of course I want to beat them. My point is the way you beat them is not to be Republican light. It's to go back to your roots and actually be the party of the people.